Hey, right on, my friends. It's Chris, and it's a Memorial Day 2020, so happy Memorial Day for everybody out there. This is an impromptu live video. I wasn't planning this. I'm generally trying to keep my videos to Wednesday at 6, but I'm over here sitting here with my mentor, my colleague, my surrogate father, Howard Myers. You guys have heard me talk about him before, and I thought, what a wonderful opportunity to have him share a little bit of his story, because I think it'll really be helpful on a day like today, or a day like every day. So I understand Memorial Day is a day that we honor those soldiers who have fallen in the history of this nation, and with much love and respect to all of them and all of their families, obviously. But Howard, you didn't die, obviously, but you came pretty damn close. So why don't you tell everybody right here kind of what happened back in Nam?
Well, Chris, I found myself in front of the draft board trying to convince them that I was worthy to go to Vietnam and fight for my country, to fight in a war I had no idea what I was fighting for or who the enemy was. But I took my basic training at Fort Knox, and then was sent on to Fort Polk, Louisiana, Tigerland, they called it. And anyone that was in the military, if you go to Tigerland, you're on your way to Vietnam, the next stop, and that's exactly what happened to me.
So what happened over there in Nam, man?
Well, as we were getting ready to land the airplane on the strip in Vietnam, I remember glancing out the window, having a windowed seat, saying, I can't believe there's a war down there in this beautiful country that I was viewing.
Hold it for perspective from 30,000 feet, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, I know.
And
then, no boundaries up there, man.
As we were exiting the plane, reality started to set in when they handed me an M16 rifle and magazines of ammunition and loaded me up to an Army vehicle to a holding camp, where later I was assigned to the 25th Infantry Division as a machine gunner on a 50 caliber machine gun.
Some 4x4s running by here. We're all having fun. So what happened? What brought you to this point today? What happened out there now?
Well, I remember coming out of the jungle that day, April 26, 1967.
Right.
And just starting to undo my chin strap on my steel pod and helmet liner, with these thoughts running through my mind of, in ambush school they taught us not to pull in cleared areas. And I remember these words coming out of my mouth, don't pull in there, Lonnie.
Right. Lonnie was your driver in your Jeep you guys were on, right? Exactly.
And as I was never able to finish my sentence, the explosion took place, my life was changed forever, and my baby blues was gone.
Blew your eyes out.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's been over 50 years since you left your eyes back in Vietnam. Right. So one of the things, since I met you about 8 years ago, Howard, I've been, through your son Chad, who's the lead author of this fantastic book that I'm gonna get to in just a minute, guys. But I've been so blown away and so impressed with your vibrant approach to life. And why don't you tell us, if you would, just briefly, give us a couple of the key principles that you've really had to live by, or you've chosen to live by, I should say, from moving you from what we call post-traumatic stress, because you certainly experienced all of that when you came home as a young man and married, and you got a child and a son on the way, blinded. How you moved from post-traumatic stress to what we call post-traumatic growth. How you became successful. What are some of the key principles that you live by, Howard?
I think the key principle that I want to share with the people that's listening to this.
Yeah, they're look right straight ahead. Wave to him right there. Wave. Hi. There he is. Hi. Always messing with the blind guy.
Is one has to accept total responsibility for what happens to him, whether he or she likes it or not. And I think that's what I was able to do, and grasp how important one's attitude is toward the responsibility of what they're faced with. And
so you got to own it.
Yeah.
You got to own it. You don't have to like it.
Right.
You can hate the hell out of it, but you got to own it.
That's exactly
right on.
And
And what else?
Well, the other thing is your faith, the things that you believe in,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to accept that early on in life, and realize that this was mine, whether I liked it or not.
Right.
And it's up to me to do something about it, not anyone else but Howard Myers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I think it's so important because it's been so easy for you to take on that victim role. You had every right in the world to take on victim role. You had your eyes blown out, for crying out loud. Who else doesn't have an absolute right to be pissed off at the rest of their life and be a victim? But you chose not to do that. And as a result, you've had an incredibly successful life, not only as an insurance person, you had a fantastic career as that, but as an athlete, you have run multiple marathons, and you are the first blind runner of the Crim races over here in Flint, Michigan. And you've run how many of those? 35?
Yeah, 25 anyway.
25 at least. I know we were there a couple years ago with Bobby, and
Right.
it was fantastic to have you and Bobby out there crossing that finish line. But one of the things, Howard, that you said to me 8 years ago and has stuck with me every day, and I use it all of the time with my clients and with the young people that I work with at Crossroads, and that is that, you always say, you go to bed in the darkness,
Wake up.
wake up in the darkness.
But, I choose to live in the light.
What does that mean, Howard? Choose to live in the light. What does that mean to you?
It means choosing an attitude of gratitude.
Right.
And it means looking for the good in all things and all people, starting with yourself, and asking the question on a daily basis, how and who may I serve?
That's beautiful. How can I serve? Exactly. Absolutely. Well, Howard, I know your story is an amazing story. And one of the reasons why I wanted to come on today is that for today, this book written by Chad and Howard is available on audible.com for no price, for no fee whatsoever. So if you go to audible.com, you can get Blind Vision, a veteran's story from trauma to triumph. I highly recommend it. Not because for nearly 5 hours you'll get to hear me read it to you, right? But I believe it's a beautifully powerful book, inspirational, motivational, and absolute, packed with truths to move anybody at any time in their lives from a place of trauma to triumph. So, Howard, anything lastly you'd like to say to the peeps out there in Facebook world?
I'd just simply like to say this, that what happened to me in life probably isn't fair, if you want to choose to look at it that way. But, life is fantastic and it's great, and it's all about choice.
Bingo.
And I have the ability to think about what kind of day I want to have when I go to bed at night. And
Right.
I've got into this mindset of saying what kind of day I want to have when I go to bed and what kind of day I want to have when I start my day.
Right on.
And it's a matter of attitude.
So it's a creation,
Yeah.
creating it.
Right.
All right, Howard. Well, wonderful job. Wonderful job. So I hope that you will consider, go ahead and grabbing this book, especially because it's no cost to you, right on. So get it, listen to it, and we hope that it really inspires. So much love, my friends.
Yeah, that's it. Back at you.